Hey folks, welcome back to our playthrough of Actraiser on the Super NES. This is part 2, and thankfully, this is not going to be a very long playthrough. It's considerably shorter than Final Fantasy VI. Anyway, picking up, we leave off, we're about to begin the town of Kasandora. I did a little bit of leveling to get us to level 4, so now we can go in. We're going to go straight down into the first part of the action sequence, and you're going to see what new surprises that this game has in store for us right now. Alright, here we go. Going down into the very beginning of Kasandora. Head straight over to the right. You're going to see some interesting enemies here and some enemies that aren't too tough. Feel free to walk right through the cactus if you want to, but don't do it intentionally like I just did there. I just forgot to jump. My button is sticking sometimes. These things will drop fire occasionally. Obviously, it's a fireball, makes sense, so do your best to avoid that. Move through the cactus patch, and eventually you will see in between these sand dunes, you have these ugly-looking sand plants here. So just let the sand carry you down, hit them twice, and continue on forward. Continue to take out the enemies here, nothing too complicated, honestly. Keep on moving through. Pretty easy stuff, I must say. Just continue to move and hack and slash. Don't forget about that little blue statue with the apple. Never hurts to have more health. Not a whole lot to see here, pretty simplistic stuff. As long as you have a brain stem, no reason why you can't get through this first part relatively unscathed. That's going to do it. Now this next part here will be a little bit trickier, as it should be. You're going to have some gargoyles. You've seen these before in blood pools, so let them come to you. Don't walk forward. As soon as they come forward, slash them. These things are pretty ugly and nasty looking. Now they will attack straight down at a diagonal here, so let them go down and back up before you move forward, if you can help it. Continue to move on up, and then you will move forward. There's usually about 2 or 3 of these things you got to watch out for here in one section. What do we got here? Ooh, an extra magic scroll. That's always nice to have. Not that you really should be needing them at this point in the game, but again, never going to turn away a freebie. Going to keep on moving through. No, you cannot actually walk into the holes here. It's just where the enemies come from. And we got one more ugly looking plant here, and we're almost at the boss of this first part of the action sequence here. Just get rid of this last little fireball. And I think right about here, we're going to have a lot of health here actually. No reason why you shouldn't be entering the boss section without full health. Alright, so the boss is an ugly looking sandworm that comes out and shoots rocks. So this is very simplistic. Wait for it to come up, just stand at the bottom and hack it 6 times. 6 times is the most you can possibly hit it. Don't worry about the rocks hitting you. It's not going to kill you. It takes 1 piece of HP per time. Yeah, that's it. One of the easiest bosses in existence of this game. So not a whole lot else to say here. That's going to do it for Kasandora Act 1. Now let's move on to the sim part of this level. Okay, we zap down into Kasandora, and immediately you're going to notice there is a new hazard here. It looks like sand, and that should come as no surprise given what we saw in the first action sequence here. Alright, so obviously you know what we're going to have to do here, right? We're going to have to wash away the sand, and how do you think we're going to do it? Take a guess. That's right, we're going to rain wash it out. And as you're also going to be able to tell, a lot of these monster lairs are concealed by the sand. So take note of where they're at. I'm going to show you right now. There's a bat lair right there. You can already tell there's a red demon lair. And there's a couple more up in the top right corner we haven't seen yet. There's another red demon. So, by the way, in case you haven't figured this out, I know you have. I'm showing you the lairs for every single land area in the entire game. So, just in case you don't know what to expect or how many there are, boom, there you go. There's always 4 in every single area here. So in this case, we have 1 bat lair, 2 red demons, and 1 blue demon. Please take note that there are actually different monster types that we will be encountering later in the game. In fact, I think in the very next land, we'll be encountering a new monster type. More on that later. Alright, let's go ahead and take out these monsters as quick as we can so we can get to the action sequence here. And this is kind of interesting. I don't know why the bat lair isn't being sealed right now. Normally you get 1 space away from the lair and they will seal it up. I have noticed this sometimes. You get so close to sealing the lair and the game just won't do it. But I guess it's not that big of a deal in the long run because I suppose it prevents you from leveling higher than you'd really like to. So right now, obviously, we're in a really good spot. We are at level 4, I believe, and we're going to be at 5 pretty soon. And just doing what we got to do, chugging along, killing monsters, crushing through. Melting sand, if that makes any sense. It's, yeah, a lot of the same stuff you've seen a million times over. And I guess one really nice thing about Kasandora, this particular city, is that it's, you know, once you get rid of all the sand, it's wide open. It is just a flat, square piece of land with nothing else to really, take note of, except for a couple occasional mountains here on the far sides. That's really about it. Now, if you look up in the top left, you will also notice, and we'll point this out shortly, there is a figure of an eagle, right? And eagles have been used plenty of times in Nintendo games in the past, but this one is pretty significant in that it dictates what a future land is going to look like. And if you think back to the previous part, the previous section of the game, we did notice a land that looked just like an eagle. And if you look closely up in the top, maybe you'll see that shortly. Maybe a little bit later. I'm not feeling it right now. But anyway, as I'm sure you've also noticed, there is a gentleman right there who was in the middle of the desert that got lost. Now, do we have to recover him? No, we don't, but it's a nice thing to do. And sometimes when you do things for the people, they will give you nice pieces of magic, items, and things of that nature. But we're not going to really worry about that right now. Oh, so there we are. There's a pyramid. That, by the way, is where we're going to go for Act 2 of Kasandora. And now we have uncovered all of the monster layers. We have the bat layer, which we've already gotten rid of. We also have the 2 remaining red demons and then the 1 blue demon. So we're going to basically wash away all the rest of the sand. And there it is. You can see up in the top left, there is the eagle, signifying what Marana will look like. And also, if you look really closely at that map up there of the eagle, maybe you caught it briefly. Yeah, you see that rock there? It's kind of tough to see at first glance, but that rock indicates where a possible hidden item could be as well. So remember that for future consideration. So other than what we've mentioned, there's really not a whole lot else to say here with Kasandora. Now, eventually you will notice that the people will come out with a nice little funky tune that is meant to calm people's nerves, right? So that's kind of interesting. But for the time being, we really don't have to worry too much about anything else. We're just going to seal up the lair, and then once we're done with all that lovely monster stuff, we're just going to get ready to go into the action sequence. So forgive me, but I'm just going to fast forward because this is nothing you haven't seen already before. We'll see you at the end of the sim. Alright, finally done with that. We are at level 5 now, and we are halfway to level 6, obviously. And what do we got here? And it looks like something bad's going on in Kasandora. What's happening? Oh, nothing much. We just have to go into the pyramid and take out the next action sequence. Finally, this is what we've been waiting for. Alright, once again, make sure you have the magical stardust selected, just in case. Go back to your Sky Palace and go down into the pyramid. And let's get ready for the next action sequence. Alright, we go down in, and let's see what we've got to worry about now. Well, think about pyramids. What do you expect to encounter in there? Yep, it's pretty much that. So you have pharaohs, snakes, mummies, all those lovely things you would expect to encounter here. So just move forward cautiously, take them out. Those arrows can be taken out with a sword swipe, so do what you must. That's actually a really smart strategy right there to drop down right in front of the pharaoh. Easy peasy stuff. This thing's kind of annoying. It takes 3 shots to kill. Just take it out quick. Go straight down quickly. Don't bother killing those things. Jump across safely. And you're going to have some spikes. And a magic scroll is always nice to have. Doing a little dance. Waiting for the elevator to come back down. Here it is. You can tell I get bored easily here playing games like this sometimes in these levels. Okay, moving across the elevators, the escalators, and I fail epically there. Fortunately, there are multiple paths in this pyramid. You don't necessarily have to take the path that we showed you there. Jump on up. Jumping across, jumping up. What do we got here? Lovely little apple. And I'm going to go ahead and save ourselves the embarrassment right here and fast forward through the next 30 seconds of failed platforming. Just because the escalators and elevators are trolling me. So now that that's out of the way, let's continue on with the level here. So mash through the scorpions. Alright, this section here, we have a very annoying eagle sword swiper. So take that out quickly. This is not too tough. Just be aware that when the little mud pellets come down, that the little droplets will also inflict damage. So be very careful of that while avoiding the enemies and the snakes. That was actually some pretty good trickeration maneuvering there. All right, watch out for the arrow projectiles here. Just be careful. Duck down if you need to, if you know an arrow is coming. Nothing too awful here. My health is a little bit lower than I'd like it to be. Get rid of the snakes, and we are not having a really good day at the office right now, but thankfully it's not going to matter too much because guess what? There will be a section to refill our health. I have to say, this game is a little easier than it needs to be in sections. Anyway, so under normal circumstances, this would be a pretty bad situation right now, right? But we're going to see moving forward. Kill the zombies, jump over the spikes, pretty basic platforming. Now this right here, this is a death trap if I've ever seen one. If you jump on the platform like you think you're going to, when it goes all the way down, you will hit the spikes, you will die. You need to wait until the platform comes all the way back up. Please be aware of that. See, like I said, free apple, have nothing to worry about. Don't bother trying to kill this enemy, let it jump over you and then just continue onward here. And then you'll be at the boss. Here we are. Now this boss, this can be really easy or give you a hard time if you don't know how to handle it. So let the Pharaoh head come down, whack it a few times, move out of the way, and then you can either take out the projectile Pharaoh head on the side along with the arrow, or you can just keep whacking the head. It's really up to you. I don't think that this boss is hard enough to the point that you really have to worry about the projectiles and the Pharaoh heads. Just keep whacking and destroying it, and that's all you got to worry about because you've only got one projectile, and as you can see, it goes down and it disappears. So, oh, by the way, there's the magical stardust. Boom, gone. Easy stuff. Now you might be wondering, why did I waste it? Don't worry, trust me. You're going to have plenty of magic scrolls throughout the entirety of the game here. It's okay if you have to use one during the course of a boss fight here. Not a big deal. So that's it for Kasandora. Both Act 1, 2, and the sim are done. Now, as you may know by this point, if you've been paying attention to the levels, we're not really able to go on and continue just yet. What happened here? Found a scroll. That's right. Remember we found that guy in the desert? Oh, what's this going on here? Oh, interesting music, right? They have developed music. Yeah, as if they were the first ones to ever develop music. Interesting, right? All right, so that music will come in handy later in the game, possibly, if other lands and areas find themselves bickering and needing to, prevent that. But we will address that situation when it comes up a little bit later. So we're good to go, I would think. Kasandora is done. We can move on to Aitos. Oh, no, we can't. Why? Because we're not at level 6 yet. So we're going to continue on, and we're going to build out just a little bit more, only the area that is absolutely necessary to get to the base of level 4. Once that's done, we will move on to Aitos, and we will see what this game has got cooked up for us right now. Now, you do notice we got people out in the fields, harvesting and farming their corn. As you probably remember, we do have the wheat fields available, and we could always give those to other people in other towns. But again, the problem with that is that if you convert corn over to if you convert corn over to wheat, you are running the risk of higher populations, and that's clearly not what we want. We want to keep ourselves as close to level 10, but beneath that as humanly possible here. So that's what we're at right now. We're just waiting to have our population get up to level 4. And once that's done, we're going to continue on to Aitos here. I think we're very, very close. So I think this is the final bit of construction that we have to wait for. I'm going to go ahead and let it play out. And then we'll see. I believe this is it. Just wait, go ahead and finish it. Come on, come on, come on. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Oh, it's not. All right, tell you what. Let's just skip to the end of this, and then once we are good to go, by the way, you can see exactly where we're at in the status of Masters. So we are only another 60 people away. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end of Kasandora, and then we'll see you in the next land of Aitos. Alright, if you're paying attention, you might notice there are people out in the desert here. They are suffering from a plague. We'll get to that later. Alright, we're at level 6 right now. Our HP goes up again, and we are officially done with Kasandora for the time being. As far as the plague that's currently affecting Kasandora, I really don't care about them because we don't want our population to go any higher right now. Alright, so we are moving into Aitos, a little bit north, and we're going to see, is this game going to get any tougher? And spoiler alert, yes, it will. You're going to see some different enemies that you haven't seen yet. You're going to have a new boss, obviously, and a new power-up you've never seen yet. But this is a point of the game that you do need to really pay attention and actually try, because this game will cost you a life or two if you don't know what to expect, or if you are not as I said, taking it seriously. So watch out for these little bamboo spike shoot traps. Move on ahead, take out the enemies, and this part right here, you are in a forced, how do I want to say this, a scrolling section of the game. It's an auto-scroller, there we go. You can always opt to jump off if you want, but you need to get back on in order to progress with the level. I advise you to just stay on the platform at all times. Can you jump off? Yes, of course. You're going to take a hit or two here and there. It's unavoidable. As I said, you could jump off, but it's not so bad that you can't get your health back later. You're not going to die by simply staying on the platform. So take your few hits, not a big deal, whatever. Just keep on moving on. Now you do want to take out these birds and these little skull enemies here. So hit them as they pop up. They should never cause you any damage here. They're very simple to get to. Don't bother wasting your magic, it's not necessary. And jump off, keep moving forward. Now this section here, you're going to have little metallic gold, iron, metal balls, whatever you want to call them. Stay off to the far side so they can't hit you. Take out the enemies, obviously. The balls cannot be destroyed, so don't try to hit them. Keep moving forward. The hands can be destroyed, and even though they can, I still advise not trying to kill them, because even if you do kill them, you still run the risk of the balls hitting you. So move on ahead, jump all the way down here to the bottom. You could go left or right. If you go left, you got points. Points are kind of worthless to us, so don't even bother with it. I'm just demonstrating so you can see it. Don't go left, stick over to the right. Continue to take out your enemies here, and if you're getting low on health, obviously be safe. Be conservative if necessary. Don't do anything stupid that's going to cause you to get hit or killed. Speaking of which, we have to be very conservative and safe here. Only 2 more hits will kill us. Now, fortunately, there is a bit of health coming up, and that's not it. That was a bomb. This one right here is an apple. Definitely pick that up. Ooh, we need it badly here. Ooh, thankfully that filled us all the way up. Now, we are back to full life. As I said, be very careful. Take out these next couple enemies. There's going to be an upcoming blue statue right up there, as you can see it. That has an absolutely critical item pickup. Make sure you pick that up before you fight the boss. It will allow your sword to shoot projectiles, which is really, really nice. Think of yourself like Link from Legend of Zelda. That's what you got right now. Now with this boss fight, it is a flying green dragon through a waterfall. Just stay on that platform for the entirety of the fight. Could you move around, jump around? Yes, of course, but what's the point when you can just stay right there and keep whacking away and shooting it from that very little platform? Now I will caution you, you are going to take damage there. Just make sure that you stay toward the center of the platform so you don't go flying off. And that's all you got to do. It's that simple. Thankfully, we refilled our health or we would have been in serious trouble. So that's Aitos, Act number 1 complete. We can go ahead and continue on to the sim part of the stage. And I will tell you that the simulations are getting a little bit trickier. Not tough, but certainly trickier with more strategy involved. So let's see what we have to go ahead and do here now. Alright, right out of the chute, you're going to see we have another new hazard we've never encountered before. We have rocks. So think about all of the natural elements and godly things we can do. What kind of natural disaster could we do that could possibly take out the rocks? Yep, that's right. We can go with the lightning. That'll certainly work. Now, you might be thinking, why not do an earthquake? Well, an earthquake is something that will come in handy a little bit later in the game, but I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be used for what you think it is, at least not at this juncture in the game. So keep that in your back pocket. We will be using an earthquake. I will tell you, unfortunately, there's really only 1, maybe 2 instances that an earthquake is really necessary. Basically, the main reason to really use an earthquake in this game, outside of the one point where it is essential to continue, is to really keep your population down, because the earthquakes will basically kill anything on screen or anything beyond that too, so it will definitely keep your population down. Speaking of which, you're seeing me shoot these little skull heads, right? I shouldn't say little, it's the complete opposite of that. So these skull heads are another new type of demon enemy lair that you've never seen before, and they are the toughest of all of the enemy types that you've seen in the sim stages. So if you think back, the bats take 1 hit, the blue demons take 2, red demons take 4, and these skull heads, should you choose to actually shoot them with basic arrows, take 8 hits. Yes, 8 hits apiece to take down. So they are very annoying, and this is why you have those offerings that you've earned throughout the course of the game up to this point. Those stronger arrows, those bombs. Take advantage of those, use them whenever you need to take out the skull heads. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's really no point in worrying about the skull heads because, it's like any other enemy in this game. Okay, if they kill your population, big deal. You don't want them to go up above a certain level unless you're trying to hit the minimum level necessary to advance the game here. So, take care of a skull head, we're going to advance to the 2 layers that are right in front of us. So the Skullhead layer is immediately gone. That didn't take very long. And then once that's done, we're going to just go down south and take care of the Blue Demon lair. So 1-2 layers out of the way within the first minute or two. That wasn't too tough. Strange statue, thank you for the bomb. We'll certainly take that. Okay, interesting story. Not that we care at the moment. A lot of cool things. Now you probably noticed there's a volcano over to the left, right? That volcano will come into play shortly in just a little bit. And there goes our second layer out of the way. So the skull head is gone. The first of the 3 blue demon layers is now gone. And you can already tell the next couple things we have to do, right? All we have to do is head up north. And this is actually a relatively small map in terms of, population compared to the other maps that we've seen. Kasandora has definitely been the biggest of the layers that we've seen up to this point. And yeah, shine our tears down on you. Didn't do a single thing for us, but whatever, there you go. Alright, gonna keep on changing the direction of the town. We don't have to worry about populating over there right now. So we're gonna move on up here, take out this layer, and then take out the other one up there. Once that's done, we can move on to the second and final action stage of Aitos here. Before we do that, I just want to point out a couple things here. So you're going to see we are building windmills now, and we all know what windmills are used for. Don't really care about horses on the ranch at the moment. So you probably noticed, among the other things that we can do, there are various types of acts, such as lightning, sun, rain, wind, earthquake. We've really talked about every type of natural phenomenon that we can use, with the exception of wind. Now you notice we have a windmill here, right? You think this is probably where the wind will come into play? Yeah, if you thought that, you're a smart cookie. That's exactly what it's going to be used for. Now, other than that, there is no purpose that the windmill or the wind is going to serve. And really, to an extent, you could say the same thing about the earthquake too. But here we go. We're just going to move on. You don't have to do what I'm doing here. And yeah, they're not going to populate these sections over here, but I've got extra skill points to use. Might as well use them. Burn down the trees. Smash all the rocks. I don't really care that those blue demons are destroying my population, because as I've said, we want to keep those population counts to a reasonable extent as low as possible here. Alright, so that's going to take care of our next blue demon layer up here. As soon as this gets done populating the next section. Come on, hurry up. Yes, there it goes. Alright, work your way over to the top left. And then we are finally going to move on to the second part of Aitos, Act 2. So just continue doing what you do. And eventually you're going to notice that people are going to... Actually, I'll let this play out for just a second here. Take what you need. And in the top right section, you may have noticed a very large... Yes, right here, the very large mountain in the top right. Eventually, you're going to see people that are trying to climb that mountain. And when they get halfway up or to the very top of the mountain, they will find various items and artifacts that could be useful to you. Unfortunately, it's nothing that you haven't seen already before, so it's not that critical, not that big of a deal. But if you really want to wait to see what they find, it's okay. Just make sure that they don't get anywhere past level 6 before you complete this second part of the action sequence. What's going on here? Wind, aha, finally. Now they're asking for us to blow a windstorm. All right, go to our natural phenomena, wind. Notice how it goes. Pretty simple, right? Now you might be wondering, why do I have to do it? Do I have to blow the wind? Well, unfortunately, if you want them to continue populating the land, yes, you do have to, acquiesce them from time to time. So it is what it is. Continue on moving. This is the final section we need to populate with the town and construct. That final blue demon lair will disappear. And then let's see what's going to happen that causes us to go back up into our Sky Palace and do the second part of Act 2. There it is. Level 7. We're getting up there now. So population's getting a little bit higher. And clothes with fleece. Ooh. So you mean we keep people warm? Well, think about what lands are out there that could possibly use that. Probably already know, right? So we will discuss that a little bit later when we get to the town or the land of Northwall, which we already know is a tundra. That's the only possible place that could ever use fleece. So yeah, all of our demon lairs are gone. Ooh, the volcano's erupting, right? Ooh, yikes. This is going to be pretty dangerous here. Anything we could take? Yeah, we definitely want the sheep's fleece. That's basically it. We have everything else we could want. And ooh, that volcano is blasting everything here. So I think it's about time to go back up into our Sky Palace. We don't really have any new magic at this point, not that it matters. And we're going to descend directly into the volcano now. Kind of scary, huh? Nah, not really. All right, down in the volcano. Difficulty is getting ramped up just a little bit here. Definitely don't touch the lava unless you're stupid and you want to kill yourself immediately. So yeah, please don't do that. All right, moving across, jumping across. All right, jump across the platforms and destroy the exploding iPad things, I guess, whatever you want to call them. Watch out for the gargoyles as well. Man, I tell you, if it's not one thing, it's usually the other. So keep on moving on through. These things can be pretty annoying as well. So the eye clouds, I guess. So hit them, they're going to dissipate into one, and then they will circle around you. So it takes 2 shots usually to take those things down. So 1 to dissipate and 1 to fully kill it. Be very, very careful. I cannot stress this enough. Take out the enemies and being extremely cautious not to jump into the lava by accident. Oftentimes they're trying to frustrate you into evading and jumping into the lava by accident. So don't let it happen. Keep on moving forward. This is a very ugly, nasty death trap if you don't know what you're doing here. So take out the enemy. While you're moving across, make sure to stay as high as you can. If you don't, you will die. Other than that, not too tough. So just stay high, keep moving across. This is very annoying. You got to keep moving across while killing the arrows and, yeah, not taking a whole lot of damage. Fortunately, those knights only take 1 shot. So just keep on moving. That's all I got to say. Don't feel like it's going to take a million shots to kill stuff. It's usually just 1 shot apiece. The bombs will continue to explode and make your life a living hell. Just keep on moving. It's not too bad once you realize the knights only take 1 shot apiece. Keep on moving. I believe we're going to have a health power-up coming very soon, and hopefully that's the one I'm thinking of. Is it? Is it? Nope. Magic scroll, though, is very nice. We'll certainly take it. Keep on moving. Now, these things will shoot fire, and they can be pretty ugly if you do not take them seriously. Yes, ooh, thankfully we got that health power up. So, get the one that you need, continue to move. And I believe this is the boss we're coming up on right now. Yes, it is. Alright, this is the fire wheel, as I like to call him. So, he's got a very easy pattern. Just let him come down, get 2 or 3 hits on him, and then jump up. Let him bounce back to the center, and he will fire his projectiles. Now, believe it or not, I believe that the second time you face this boss is actually easier than the first time. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. Trust me, you'll find out later on. But long story short, you're going to be facing all of the bosses twice throughout the game, and I believe that the second version of this boss is significantly easier, which is ironic because they're supposed to be tougher, but enough about that. If you do not jump up there quick enough, the fire wheel will stay on the bottom and force you to jump up onto the higher levels. So just continue to follow the pattern that I've shown you here. Just keep on taking 2 or 3 hits, force him to stay up top so you can stay on the bottom with very little penalty here. And that's it. Again, you can use the magical Stardust if it's necessary. I really don't think that it is. So that's really it for Aitos right now. We are done with both acts in the sim stage, and we can now move on to the next world, the next land that we have yet to populate, which I believe is going to be Marana. We've done everything that we need to do. The only thing that we have to worry about right now is make sure that we are at a minimum level 8, because we cannot get to the next land without that. So, let's go ahead and find out. Are we there? Are we at level 8? I think we're only at 7 if I remember correctly here. So just to show you, North Wall is up there. We could go there, but we're not at level 10 yet, so we're kind of forced to go all the way down here to the Eagle Land of Marana, the Eagle Island. Let's take a look. Are we able to? No, we're not quite there yet, so we're still at level 7. So unfortunately what that means is that I'm going to have to do some offline leveling to get us to level 8. I'm not going to waste my time with that. I'll do it offline. And I'll see you guys in the next part of this challenge, in part 3, in which we will finish up and move on to another game. See you guys in the next part.